Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, I first got into the Sudoku world because the Times ran a competition. And at my third entry into it, I got in. Simon actually got in before I did. I don't know if they were believing other people's claims about their self-marked times for the entry Sudoku, or could I have made a mistake? I don't know. But anyway, I then took part in that, and then I met people from the UK Puzzle Association, found out about their Sudoku competition and the World Sudoku competition. And competitions are great fun. I find them a really interesting way of interacting in Sudoku. And we've got one coming up. We've been asked to mention this by Jonas Gleim of Germany, who said, just wanted to ask if it'd be possible to mention that the German Sudoku qualifiers are taking place this coming weekend, February the 6th to the 9th. Jonas himself is responsible for the competition for the second time and is very happy with how the puzzle set turned out. He's put a lot of time and effort in and would love to reach as many people as possible. Anyone can participate, but only German citizens can qualify for the championship round. Compared to Grand Prix rounds, national qualifiers tend to get less attention, so he'd appreciate a shout out on the channel. And I've got a URL where the instruction booklet can be downloaded, and you can find out how to enter, and that'll be in the description field below the video and just below the puzzle. Now, the puzzle that we've got today is by Jonas himself and was considered too hard for the competition, so I'll be having a look at it and seeing if I can manage to do it. It's a numbered rooms Sudoku, fairly basic. What you get in competitions is kind of a one rule variant Sudoku normally, and a few classics. So that's what you get. And normally these competitions are kind of an hour and a half or 2 hours of a test that you begin when you choose. Anyway, do consider doing that. The Grand Prix that he mentioned is up and running. There'll be another weekend of that along in a moment too. Just search for Sudoku GP and you will find your way to that. And all you need to do is register and have a go at that on the weekend when that's relevant. So there's lots of competitions you can do. Now, if you want some leisure Sudoku, then I earnestly recommend the new hunt that we have on Patreon. It's by Skunkworks. It's on a theme they've done before. It's Duality 3. And it's really good fun. So do check out our Patreon, where there's also connections and crossword videos and gridogram and lots going on. And if you want, again, more leisured Sudoku, there's all of our apps which feature all kinds of Sudoku, including classic Sudoku too, and the Worms. And we'd love it if you'd check those out. They are great fun as well. But the first link under the video is to this puzzle. Now, I've had to put it, because it wasn't in our software or anything like it, so I've put it in. The version I solve won't have an embedded answer. So hopefully I can find the right solution and then embed that as the answer. And when you solve it, it will have an embedded answer. So you will be congratulated if you get it right at the end. Let's do the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 going in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. A clue's digit, so these clues outside the grid, the digit given must appear in the nth position looking into the grid in the row or column, where n is the digit in the first position. So if we had a 7 there, that would mean that this 4 has to appear in the 7th room, the 7th cell in this column, which would be there. That's what that 7 would mean. And likewise, that 4 would mean that digit had to be a 7. So that's how the numbered rooms rule works. And that's the only rule in this puzzle. And it's apparently too difficult for the competition. Give it a try. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. We've got lots of 2s and 4s at the top. We've got 2 2s in this row. Now, I know what that means. That means that the 2 digits at the end of the row add up to 10. Because if you consider, let's imagine the 2 was there and you count the cells from this side, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That digit would be a 4. If you count them from this side, it's 6. that digit would be a 6. And these two will always add up to 10. Now, further than that, they're not 1 and 9, because that would involve the 2 being in one of the positions that had to be occupied by 1 and 9. And they're not 2 and 8, because that would involve the 2, which is meant to be in position 2 or 8. So these are either a 3-7 or a 4-6 pair in that row. That's not quite... Okay, this digit is not a 4, because what would this digit be for the clue in this column? 4 would be in the 4th cell, so it would have to be another 4, and that would break Sudoku rules. So that's not a 4, and its counterpart is not a 6. Now, anything else we can glean about this row with the 2-2 clues? We've got this column with the 4-4 clues, and that must have a similar vibe. So let's just think about that. These must add up to 10. They can't be 1-9, because 4 would be in the wrong place. And they can't be 4-6 this time, because 4 would need to be there and there, as well as there or there, as well as in one of the end places. So I think these are either 2-8 or 3-7 this time. And I don't think... Oh no, I do think that could be 2. This would be a 4. If it was 8, that would be a 6. I can't see why that's impossible either side. I do feel I'm not really grasping how the puzzle's meant to work. Okay, let's think about the 2 2s that are signalled at the top of columns 1 and 3. One of them, well, they both have to be in different boxes by Sudoku rules. So these digits will have different entropies. It doesn't feel very helpful either. Okay, I'm going to think about if this was a 4. That would put 2 here. Now, what does that do to this column? That makes this a 3-7 pair with a 4 either there or there. That seems feasible too. Okay, I don't really know what I'm meant to be aiming for at this point. The 9... Oh, yes, I do. Right. I know where 1 goes in the top row. That's what I know. I'd forgotten this about numbered rooms Sudoku. The only way that you can have a 1 clue... Sorry, the only way that you can have a clue outside the perimeter where 1 appears in the perimeter, if we had a clue here, it would be referring to the digit in position 1, so the clue would have to be a 1. So in this top row, any digit that was a 1 with a clue would have to have a clue of 1, and none of those 8 have a clue of 1, so the 1 can be placed here. Now, in a sort of similar way, the only places for 1 in this column must now be there and those 2. Unfortunately, though, there are quite a few places for 1 in the final column and in the bottom row. Or not there, because... Okay, so there are fewer than I thought, actually. What about this 5? Is that any use? We only know it can't be a 1 there, which it couldn't have been anyway. So no, that's not really a lot of use. I suppose we couldn't put a 9 here now, because that's already occupied. Right, the 4 in this column then is on either position 2 or 3 or 7 or 8. That's slightly interesting because it's not in those positions. Oh, I see. So maybe we have to think about what all of these cells are filled with in the top row, and what that does to the disposition, the spread out of 2s and 4s in these columns. I feel like that ought to be appropriate. Also, there's two in this column downwards, 2 in this column upwards, 2 in this column downwards. I don't know. It's a lot of 2 clues in this puzzle. I mean, that might be very relevant. There's only so many 2s in the grid that can be being clued. Well, there are 9 2s in the grid that can be clued. Oh gosh, no, I don't really understand what I'm meant to be getting to grips with here. Okay, let's go back to this 4 then. It's in one of those cells in this column. I could pencil mark it like that and see if that does anything for me. Okay, here's something to think about then. These digits are the numbers from 2 to 9. And they're going to be putting, of the digits at the top of the grid, they're going to be putting one of them in that row, one of them in this row, etc., all the way down. So, where you get a 2 and a 3 in this row, we can't get a 2. Ah, of course. In this row, the 2 can't be sitting on a 2 clue, because that would insist that the 2 be in row 2 when it was already in row 1. So the 2 must be sitting on a 4 clue, and its 4 must then be in one of these 4 cells. No, these 4, no, hang on, the 2 is sitting on a 4 clue, and it's putting a 4 into one of these 4 cells in the row. So this is a bit of a clash with my pencil marking. One of those 4 cells in the row is a 4. Now, does that, I thought that was going to knock this out, but actually it is allowable. If that's a 2, that's a 4. Well, there's also going to be a 4 in this top row, and that is going to put a 2 into a position in this row, because it's not going to be able to sit on a 4. It's going to have to sit on a 2 in one of those positions and put the number 4 into one of these positions. So one of these positions is a 4. Now, there's quite a few cells in this central box that have been ruled out from being a 4. They include those ones from the column, these ones from the row. Now, that was interesting for 2s and 4s. Is there any other digit for which these things are interesting? If we were to put a 9 into one of these cells, as we must, that's going to put a 2 or a 4 into this row here. If it was in one of the 2 sections, that would put a 2 into one of these places, if the 9 in the top row was in one of the 2 sections. And that would then require this digit to be 1, which it couldn't be, or 3, 6, or 8. Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know what the implications are. These 2 4s are in the same, they would be in the same box if these 2 digits had the same entropy, if they were both from 4, 5, 6, or from 7, 8, 9, or indeed from 1, 2, 3, it would be impossible. But I don't see how to use that yet. I'm really not getting to grips with the puzzle. I'm glad I'm not doing it under competition conditions. There again, I am doing it in front of you guys, so it's just as exposed, and probably more so. Wow, I don't know. I'm really struggling to get to grips now. The 1, we got that 1. That's the only digit I've placed. There was going to be a 1 in one of those cells. And therefore the other digits, where's 2 in this column? It's not there or there. So this is not a 4 or a 9. We know it's not a 1. So it's 3, 5, 6, 7 or 8. We know it's not 2 as well. Oh, so that's not a 4 either. So the 4 in the top row is now confined to one of those 3. This can't be a 4. This digit can't be a 4. That's quite important. Is this right? I think this is right for some reason. Why can't I understand it? Because the 4 in the top row is going to be in one of those places. It's not here. Or is it? Is this possibly a 4? Which would require that to be a 2. No, that would... Yes, it's not there. I've mispencil marked these. I'm so sorry, of course. These are throwing a 2 into the 4th position. Whichever one of these is a 4 is throwing a 2 into one of these positions. That's how I should have pencil marked it. Ah, and this digit is seeing that 2, and it's not in position 2. It's either in position 2, 4, 7 or 9. Well, the only available digit is 7. It's very straightforward. If I could just see this in the right way. I am terrible at numbered rooms. That's a 3. That's what's happened. Right, this is now not a 3. Now, we can't put a 2 into position 5 or 6 because that would double the number of 2s in box 4. So the 2 is now going into position 7 or 8 from there. I've actually got progress. Now, well, I mean, I've got a tiny bit of progress. I'm happy with it. That 2 is clearly saying this digit is a 4. And the other 2, the one in this column is in one of those. Then we've got a 2 by Sudoku in one of those 3 cells. And this digit must be 7, 8 or 9, pointing it out as a numbered room. Okay, now we've got 2 in one of those cells. So the 2 that this is posting is not in positions 1, 2 or 3. And this digit is somewhere between 4 and 9. Oh, okay, at least, I mean, I'm sorry about the bad pencil marking when I put 4s in these positions. That was very foolish, but just a slip of the brain. Now, this can't be a 4 by Sudoku because that is. Therefore, the 2 in the top row is not here. One of those is a 2, and that digit is now 7 or 8. I wonder if it's the same as that. Don't know. Have these got any more constrained? Not really. We still have to find the 2 in the top row. We now know it's not there. It's either here, here, or here, pushing a 4 into one of those 3 positions. Okay, if this was a 2, that digit becomes an 8 and places the 4 here. Now, if that's an 8 at the bottom, this becomes a 7 and puts 2 there. Then we would get a 2 in one of these positions. And I don't know what that does to the game. Right, this one is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9. That is not very helpful. I mean, this digit can't be a 9 now because we can't put 7 there, but that's really mild. Oh, if that was an 8, This would be a 6. If that was an 8, this can't be an 8, because that digit would have to be an 8, putting the 8 in position 8. Ah, that digit's a 7. That does put 2 here. Now, is that going to do any? That's not the position where 2 was going to be informative. But this digit can't be a 7 now. So this one can't be a 3. Remember, those two add up to 10. Now that can't be the 4. So the 4 is in one of these. Well, we knew that already. The 4 is in one of those 3 cells. This is still, if that was a 7, we'd have 7 in one of these positions. I don't know what that does here. If that's an 8, this digit is a 6 in the clue down here. And then that's what puts 4 here. So if 4's here, we get 8, 6, 2. We do get a 4 in one of these 3 positions. And if it was in one of those 2, that would force a 3 into one of these. That's getting a little bit complicated. We know there's a 2 there. Where's 4 in this column? Right. Positions available are positions 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this digit by Sudoku can't be 4 or 7. So that is 5, 6, or 8, putting the 4 in the column into one of those positions. And the 4 in this column is either in positions 2, 7, or 8. Now we do still have a 3. The 3 in this row cannot be sitting on one of the 2's, because it would put a 2 here or here clashing with that one. So the 3 in this row is in one of those 2 positions, and that's putting a 4 in one of these 2 positions and ruling 4 out of there and forcing that to be the 4 in row 2 and this to be the 2. This is now an 8. That now is a 6, placing the 8 in the row. And what about this thing? By Sudoku, we're down to 1, 2, 4, 5, or 9. But it can't be a 1, because that would occupy the cell rather than the necessary 2. It can't be a 2, 4, or 9, because they're already occupied. So that digit is a 5, putting a 2 here. And that tells us that the 5 in this column is in position 2. There it is. And I should start using orange to tick off the clues where I've placed the digit and that I don't need to think about anymore. There's quite a few of them now, actually, extraordinarily. Those 2. Right, one of these is going to be the 3, putting a 4 there. Now, maybe I should think about the 9. The 9 in this row can't be sitting below a 2, because that would put a 2 down here. So the 9 is sitting below a 4. That is now a 3-9 pair, and that's putting 4 in one of those 2 positions. Well, we know where that goes. That goes here. That's the 9. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its position. Right, that's orange now. That's orange. We've done those clues. This is going to place a 2 somewhere in this column. But this digit is now 5, 6, 7, or 8 by Sudoku, putting the 2 in one of those cells. Oh, they're all possible. That's incredibly annoying. By Sudoku, this is also 5, 6, 7, or 8, putting a 2 again in one of those cells. So we've got 2's. Well, it can't be 7 or 8 here. So there's a 2 in position 5 or 6. Then there's a 2 in one of those. There's a 4 in one of these 3. There's a 2 in one of those. Right, good. Now, this digit by Sudoku is 1, 3, or 9, but it's placing a 7 and it's not placing it in position 1 or position 9. So that digit is a 3, placing a 7. Placing a 7 there in position 3. I mean, if I've made a mistake on that sort of thing earlier, I apologise. These remaining digits in the row are 1 and 9 in some order. That 3. It would be lovely if we could get to a point where I could actually start doing Sudoku in this rather than numbered rooms, which is clearly a genre I don't understand very well. Okay, we need to place a 9 in this row. That's not very interesting. Let's think about the 7 in this row. This digit can't be 2, 3, 4 or 5 by Sudoku. It can't be 1 from the numbered rooms angle. So it can't be 7 either, because that would put a 7 there, but also have a 7 here. So this is 6, 8 or 9. It can't be 9. So that's 6 or 8. Putting a 7 either there or there, well actually position 6 is unavailable. So that is actually an 8. Putting a 7 there, that clue is done. By Sudoku, this corner becomes a 7. That's putting the 2 here. And that's done. Now this can't be a 7. So we're putting a 2 in one of those cells. I'm not going to pencil mark that across box. Well, I might as well. I've pencil marked that 4 across boxes already in a very similar way. So fair enough. Let's crack on with that. Now, not that many clues still to do. These 3 top ones that I can't really resolve. And then row 5 and row 6. So I could start doing Sudoku. Look, that digit is where 7 goes in box 9. That's cell. Then I can place 7 in box 2. 7's in one of those 2 in box 5 and one of these 2 in box 4. How about 4s? We've got quite a few 4s floating around. There's a 4 in one of those cells. These can't be 4 anymore since I got the 4 up there. So 4 in this box is in one of those 2 places. Oh, and in this column, I should of course think about these digits, 1, 4, 6 or 9. Right, this can't be a 9, putting a 9 in position 9. If it was a 6 or a 4, 9's in one of those positions, it can't be a 1, because that would fill the box. So it is 6 or 4, 9 is in one of those 2 cells. This digit similarly can't be a 1. It could either put 5 in any of those cells. I can't see the rationale behind either allowing or not allowing that. Ah, but look, 4, oh no, 4 isn't necessarily, this is where the marking across boxes becomes dangerous. I was thinking 4 had to be in one of these 2 cells. If 4 was in one of those 2 cells, this would have to be 6 and this would be 9. And that would put 9 here. And 5 here. And that wouldn't leave anywhere for 2. Is that right? No, that is not right. That is not right. I'm misinterpreting these numbers. This would be 6 and that would be 9. That would put 9 here and 5 here. That would put 2 here and 2 here. This might be a little complicated now. Oh, 2 is in one of those 2 positions by Sudoku in this row. But it's in one of those 3 in column 8. Can that be a 2 and one of those be a 2? I don't quite know. Oh look, Sudoku, 8. I can place 8 in box 2. Then I can place 8 in box 3. I should have seen ages ago that 8 was looking at that cell. So this can't be perfect. 4 is now confined there. This digit becomes a 6. That one becomes a 9. The 6 places a 9 there. That forces 2 in this box. Let's get rid of 9 there. The 9 there makes this a 5. And those 2 clues are done. And this clue is done when I put the 2 down here. There we go. That clue is done. This one is now putting a 2 in position 6 very clearly. So I can put the 6 there. It's done. This is going to put a 4 in position 5 and it'll be done. And that 4 will be here. And I think I have done all the numbered rooms clues now. And the rest of this puzzle must somehow be Sudoku. which is quite a surprise at this point. So let's hope I could get somewhere near beast mode, as if I was in a competition, but I'm already 25 minutes in. It would be a very slow puzzle. I'm glad this was excluded from the competition. That seems to be a 7-5 pair. This is a 1-8 pair. 2, 5, 7, 4... No, 1, 8, 4, 2, 5, 7. We've got 3, 6 and 9 to place in the column. These can't be 9 or 6 anymore. And that one sees a 4. So that's 1, that's 4. That's now a 6 by Sudoku. That's a 1. What have I got? A 3, 9 pair still to place in this row. That's a 2, 5, 6 triple. That digit's a naked 2, 5 and 6 there. In this column, we've got 1, 8, 9 to place. That's not a 9, but this is a 1, 8, 9 triple. So that's a 3, 5 pair. That can't be 3 anymore. Does that mean 3 is placed in the column? No. 2, 7, 3, 5, 8 could be there. Okay, let's look at this column. 4, 6, 2, 5, 7. Everything else is from 1, 8, 3, 9. That one can't be a 3 because of this 3, 5 pair. But this one can. 4 has got placed in this box. That was done ages ago. And then 4 is placed in box 5 and everywhere in the puzzle. Right, that 5 is looking at this pair, which I hadn't noticed before. 7, 9, we need a 2 in row 5. That's not an 8, and this isn't a 1. Right, up this column, we need a 9. That has to be there. And then there's a 3, 6, 8 triple in the central box, in which that one can't be 3. There's a 1, 5 pair that are resolved. That sorts out 3 and 5. We can come down to a 1 here and a 6, 9 pair. 6 and 9 there, takes 9 out of those cells. In this row, we've got 1, 6, 9, 8. That digit is 6 or 8 in the column, so that's forming a pair of 6, 8 in the row, and that's a 9. And this digit is 3 or 6. It's kind of a chocolate teapot quadruple that we can't resolve. But that 1, 8 pair is good. That gives me 9 there. That's 1, that's 8. That'll sort out the chocolate teapot in a hurry. And all the central 3 rows are done. That's a 1 now, that's a 9. That's 3 and 9. I can come back to the 8. That's 6 and 3 below it. 6 and 9 there. 5 and 6 here. And there we go. That is the solution to the numbered rooms puzzle. It's brilliant. Super stuff from Jonas. I hope you had a go at that and enjoyed it. And if you found that easier than I did, you should be having a go at this competition, and you should be taking part in your national federation and trying to get to the World Sudoku Championship. So if you're regularly posting times that are better than mine, why are you not there? Or are you? Maybe you are there. And maybe I'll see you there at the World Sudoku Championship either this year in Kolkata, I think, or next year. Bye for now.